By now, you are all aware of the arrest of Dele Farotimi by the men of the Nigerian police force in Ekiti State. They came to Lagos State, arrested him, they abducted him, drove him on the road to Ekiti State for 7 hours, and the court speedily passed a judgment on him to be remanded in police custody. His arrest was orchestrated by Afe Babalola, a lawyer who is also a senior advocate of Nigeria. Afe Babalola said that Dele Farotimi defamed him in his book, Nigeria and its Criminal Justice System. Dele Farotimi arrest, or let's say his abduction by the men of the Nigerian police force, has sparked wide outrage in Nigeria and abroad. Not only is his arrest illegal, but the way and manner at which he was arrested. Many people are talking about his arrest, but let us talk about why he was arrested. What exactly is it that he wrote in that book that made Afe Babalola, a lawyer, a senior advocate of Nigeria, that knows the law, someone that ought to protect the law, an arbiter of the law, to use state machinery to arrest someone that defamed him? The name Afe Babalola is a big name in the Nigerian political and judicial landscape. He is not just a lawyer, he is a seasoned lawyer, an educationist, and a philanthropist. He is 95 years old, by the way, and is being considered an oracle among legal practitioners. Afe Babalola has faced persistent allegations of influencing court judgment, even though he has consistently denied those claims. Justice Datito Mohammed and other retired justices have highlighted the problematic role some senior lawyers play in compromising judicial integrity. Although none of them specifically mention Afe Babalola in this allegation. Dele Farotimi is a human rights lawyer and advocate of good governance. He's been a huge voice against illegality in the Nigerian judiciary. Not only has he been criticizing the Nigerian judiciary and the criminality it has shown so far, he has also been a huge critic of Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. In his book, Nigeria and its Criminal Justice System, Farotimi recounts instances that he claimed illustrate systemic corruption involving Babalola and others. A significant example is the Badamasi Elu case, where he alleged that Babalola manipulated Supreme Court proceedings to secure favorable judgment for his client. This case involved a contest over 254 acres of land in Osopa village between Major Moritala Badamusi's family and the Elu family. The initial judgment was given in favor of Major Moritala's Badamusu's family. Then the Elutu's family sought Afe Babalola legal expertise to appeal the court judgment. The Elutu's family subsequently won that case in Supreme Court in 2013. Controversy arose when allegations surfaced that Babalola's law firm manipulated court processes and judgment to favor the Elutu's family. Farotimi in that his book has accused Babalola of corrupting the judiciary during this case, citing manipulated warrant and fraudulent judgment that benefited the Elutus. He also alleged collusion with other lawyers and judges, such as Justice Dele, to influence the outcomes. Farotimi also alleged that a firm doctored the court judgment based on which a Lagos judge at that time illegally issued a warrant of execution but later squashed the warrant after it was challenged. The book claimed that the law firm of SB Joseph & Co. procured 2 warrants to execute the said judgment by doctoring the original judgment of the Supreme Court. The book also stated that Atilade O. Justice, at the time who was the administrative judge of the Lagos Judicial Division, unlawfully issued a warrant of execution based on the doctored judgment, and with that the enroll order of the Supreme Court. The book also stated that Atilade J squashed the fraudulent obtained warrant following an application of counsel in protest against him. Accusing Mr. Babalola and others of tainting the court's integrity, Mr. Farotimi alleged that the legal icon committed libel against him in a suit he had against one Lawa Pedro. He said although he filed charges against the libel, Mr. Babalola ensured he used his influence to ensure he did not get justice. The book stated in quotes that Afe Babalola, Olu Daramora, Olu Faro, and the law office of Afe Babalola & Co., Emmanuel Chambers, compromised the Supreme Court and the remaining semblance of integrity it might have had when they went back to the Supreme Court and got that court to swim in the sewer of corruption and shameful self-abnegation, the book stated. Mr. Farotimi added that Afe Babalola libeled me, and the fact of the libel became known to me in his suit against Lawa Pedro San, that I sued Afe Babalola San for libel and that he leveraged his influence in the judiciary to deny me justice. That Onikan Abdullahi J was the instrument of injustice employed to deny me my day in court. Now, going by the experiences among other factors explained in the book, Mr. Farotimi concluded that the criminality and complicity of the country judiciary will not allow it to dispense true justice, which it has sworn to uphold. Dele Farotimi simply accused Afe Babalola of using his influence as a son to get favorable judgment in court, including the Supreme Court. Afe Babalola is alleging defamation, but within 24 hours, we can see that he can use his connection to equally influence decisions, the same thing that Dele Farotimi stated in his book. First, he used the police in a case of defamation of character. The Nigerian law does not in any way state that defamation of character is a criminal offense. Defamation of character, or libel, is a civil matter. It ought to be settled in court. What this means is that anyone who feels defamed should not use the police to issue an arrest, but should rather seek redress in court. Sue the person to court with evidence that shows that the person actually defamed you. If the court found substance in your evidence, they will make pronouncement in that case. This is not the first time we are seeing or hearing about defamation of character in Nigeria before. We've seen high-profile persons involved in defamation of character in Nigeria. For instance, in 2015, Bola Ahmed Tinubu sued AIT to court for airing a documentary, The Lion of Budolion, against him. In that documentary, AIT accused Bola Ahmed Tinubu of fraudulently amassing so much wealth while as governor in Lagos State. Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not go about using police to harass or intimidate AIT. He simply sued them in court for a 150 billion naira damages. The case was eventually settled out of court. Former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's wife, Patient Jonathan, sued the Nation newspaper for writing a libelous article against her. Aliko Dangote, Africa's richest man, has once sued Premium Times for writing libelous article against him, stating that his business activities in Nigeria is illegal. The more recent one is between Falana and Very Dark Man. Falana alleged that Very Dark Man defamed him. He did not go using the court or the police to arrest Very Dark Man. He simply sued him in court and in Abuja, where the said defamation was carried out. But here we have Afe Babalola, a son, senior advocate of Nigeria, a seasoned lawyer, doing the same thing that he said Dele Farotimi accused him of. Using the state machinery, which is the police, to arrest Dele Farotimi for a defamation case is a gross violation of the law and equally interfering in state matters. This man used his connection and influence to get the police not to arrest but to adopt someone that defamed him. The said defamation crime was committed in Lagos, but he asked the police to arrest the man and bring the man to Ekiti State. Offense number 1, the Ekiti State Police has no jurisdiction over this case. A court in Ekiti State within 24 hours hurriedly passed judgment reminding Dele Farotimi in prison. Offense number 2, the court in Ekiti State has no jurisdiction over this matter. The case between Very Dark Man and Falana that happened months ago is still on, but the court in Ekiti State has already passed judgment on Dele Farotimi. This can only happen because there was an interference in the court judgment. Who else could have interfered in this court judgment if not the same person that Dele Farotimi has accused of interfering in court judgment in the past? In order to protect his name, Afe Babalola has shown to the whole world that he is guilty as accused by Dele Farotimi. This is the problem we are having in the Nigerian justice system. There is no justice in the Nigerian justice system because judgments are being compromised. Former Delta State Governor James Ibori case remains one of the most glaring examples of judicial compromise. Despite overwhelming evidence of corruption, Ibori was acquitted of 170 charges in Nigeria. However, a court in UK found him guilty of money laundering, raising serious questions about Nigerian judicial integrity and ability to handle high-profile corruption cases. The stark contrast in verdict exposed the weaknesses and susceptibility of Nigerian courts to manipulation. Orji Uzor Kalu, a former Abia State governor, was convicted of fraud and sentenced to 12 years in prison. However, the Supreme Court later nullified his conviction on technical grounds, citing procedural errors. This happened the moment he decamped to APC. Many saw this as a legal loophole exploited to free a politically connected individual. We are not even going to forget about the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal that just happened in 2023 between Atiku Abubakar, Mr. Peter Obi, and Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The Supreme Court, despite every available evidence, declared that Bola Ahmed Tinubu won the election. The current Supreme Court judge, Kudirat Kekere-Ekun, was the judge that was involved in the election case in Imo State, where Hope Uzodinma, who came fourth, later became the governor of Imo State. These cases and many more are cases that have shown judicial compromise in this country. Farotimi, in that his book, is highlighting the corruption in the Nigerian justice system using the case involving Afe Babalola. Arresting him is trying to intimidate and silence him. But Nigerians, we will never be intimidated. We will never be silenced. We will keep speaking up until the right thing is done in this country. A country where our judicial system has been compromised is a country that has gone to the dogs. It's a country that is leading and heading to anarchy. The judiciary is the common hope of the last man. The judiciary is the custodian of the law. The judiciary must be protected at all costs. We must ensure that these men and women that have infiltrated the Nigerian judiciary, that has corrupted the Nigerian judiciary, that has made the Nigerian judiciary to be a laughing stock, will be fished out and thrown into the abyss. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.